Welcome to episode 510 of the Red Dirt Agronomy Podcast. I am Dave Deacon, and if we got a fun episode for you. When most people think about soybeans, they probably think about a crop in the field. But in Oklahoma, soybeans are also tied to livestock feed, producer research, ag education, and outreach that stretches from the farm gate to the classroom. This week on the podcast, we're talking with Rick and Ginger Reimer of the Oklahoma Soybean Board. Rick, the board's executive director, and Ginger, who leads marketing, consumer information, and education efforts, join us to talk about how soybean checkoff investments are helping advance research, support producers, and build a stronger agricultural understanding through teacher workshops, student programs, and outreach across the state. We'll kick off our conversation with the Reimers in just a few minutes. But first, just a little reminder, you will be able to find all the information we talked about on this episode and past episodes on our website, reddirtagronomy.com. We're flying solo in the Doctors of Dirt and everything that grows from it department. So let me introduce my friend, Oklahoma State University Extension Precision Nutrient Management Specialist.
I can do that because I've heard him talk about it a million times, but you're more fun.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Brian Arnell. Let's kick off our conversation with Rick and Ginger Reimer, recorded on January 10th, 2026, while we were set up in the Oklahoma Wheat Commission's booth at the KNID AgriFest 2026. You are listening to the Red Dirt Agronomy Podcast. So, Brian, go ahead and introduce our guests.
All right, we're really here with, I'd say, the first lady and first man of the soybean.
There you go.
Soybean,
yeah.
Rick and Ginger Reimer. And we pulled them away from the soybean board booth here at KNID, where they were giving out all the scrunchies and all the things. They've got lots of soybean merch that gives out to the kids, and I think Rick enjoys that as much as anything else. But want to get them on, talk a little bit about what they're doing as far as the soybean board goes and just overall what's happening. So you guys want to maybe introduce yourselves and what your roles are?
Sure. Rick Reimer, and I serve as the executive director of the Oklahoma Soybean Board. And I am embarrassed, perhaps a little bit chagrined, to tell you how long I've been doing that.
Well, they haven't got rid of you, so.
Well, that's a testimony to my luck, maybe not my ability, but have done it a long time, 20, 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Back when it was Oklahoma Soybean Commission.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the commission was a state entity, and there wasn't a national checkoff at that time.
Really?
Yeah. So when the farmers voted for a national checkoff standard across the states, we convinced the legislators to let the Soybean Commission sunset.
Okay.
And we established the Oklahoma Soybean Board as a state entity. So, yeah. And as such, and I'll give you a little bit of the history on that too, with a national checkoff, half of what we collect from the producers then is remitted to the United Soybean Board.
Okay.
And they collectively can do very big projects because they have half of every state's money.
And Ginger, what is your role with all of this?
Well, I do the marketing and consumer information component of our mission and focus a lot on education. Several years ago, I was going to classrooms, working with children, very passionate about teaching kids where their food, fuel, fiber, feed comes from, and a very supportive board. We had a principal and a couple of husbands of teachers, and so I said we've got to do something. Our kids have no idea that French fries come from a potato.
Yes.
And those little green pods out there and those beautiful big green plants are actually in your food, feeding your dog, your goats.
Right.
So after a lot of years on the road, we started doing teacher workshops.
Yes.
And that has been really good for us because we're training the trainer.
Yes.
We send those teachers out from a workshop with a trunk full of supplies, chick incubators, games, books, curriculum. It's like Christmas. And so it's really great being the giver of so much gifts to the teachers, and they're a very appreciative lot.
Well, I will say my wife is a teacher. She teaches STEM, so she really appreciates the tools that are available from organizations like this, like yours, because it helps her integrate that into her teaching, and it really does expose the students to what those little green plants out there are.
Well, and it helps them connect from a plant growing in the field to what it actually can do or does do. And I always tell the board when we do a recap every year, she has the fun and exciting part to share. I'm just the numbers cruncher, you know. But as such, we ask the teachers at the end of those workshops to just stand up in a group together, and they hold up a piece of paper in front of them that says how many students that they teach, whether it's in self-contained or rotating classroom.
Right.
And we add that number together to help determine the reach that we have.
Oh, yeah.
So we're close to 800 teachers.
Wow.
And bumping 20,000 students.
Wow.
Annually?
One of the things about doing the workshops is those teachers, hopefully they're doing it each year. We train them. One of the last workshops was called Pork and Beans. So it was about pigs and soybeans. And so we're hoping they're doing that every year.
Yeah.
But we really only count the number of students that they're going to influence in that school year. So that number is greater than even that if they're doing it multiple years.
Oh, yeah.
So can you share a little bit about this last one? What was Pork and Beans? What were some of the things you were able to share with the teachers and some of the tools?
Well, one of the things that we also have that the board purchased was VR headsets, virtual reality headsets.
Perfect.
So one of the experiences in the headset is going to a swine production facility.
Yeah.
And so from birth to harvest. So the kids get to see that. We have the teachers experience that as well. Lots of our Pork and Beans was mostly preschool teachers, so a lot of book experiences and a lot of activities following the pork industry. And so that one, a more intense workshop has been our Chick-a-Doodle-Doo workshop, where we actually do some chemistry things with eggs.
Oh, wow.
We drop eggs.
Yeah.
They soak in vinegar and a solution, and then they bounce.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that reach those older students, too, as far as in addition to the life cycle.
That's what I think is so impressive with the soybean board and Ginger and Rick is that, you've already heard it's not just soybean. They're not just doing soybean education, which would honestly probably be a challenge to do that much soybean outreach, which is possible to K through 12. But now the chickens, the pork, all the industries in ag, they're really doing the full spectrum of agriculture when it comes to this education. And the VR sets, now, do you guys retain them, or did the VR sets go with the teachers?
We have a classroom set of them, and we'll take those out to a classroom. We kind of target the older students with those, but we'll go out and do that experience about 20, 30 minutes with them, flip-flop the class.
Yeah.
Do it with the other half.
They come back to us because administrative guy wants to count them. Make sure.
That's why I thought that was the case. I just wanted to make sure that the audience didn't think that they were, we could get some VR sets. No, not quite how this
I've
one
gotten a
works.
lot of things done, sleeping with my boss, but but there's a limit.
Yeah, there's a limit.
She does find it entirely annoying when her husband / executive director wants a receipt for absolutely everything. We have a saying, document or die. D-O-D.
That makes sense.
And there's a couple of reasons for that. A, because it's the right thing to do. We're spending producer money.
Right.
It's their checkoff money that we're spending. You can't ever forget that.
Yeah.
And the fact that we have an annual local audit and a 5-year compliance review.
Right.
So you better have everything
exactly
well documented.
Rick, what proportion of the annual funds that the board works through is going through this outreach?
That's a good question. I'm going to say, again, what's left from the half, the board allocates, and the primary, there's 5 legal categories through the USDA and the National Checkoff that you can use. Consumer information, promotion, industry information, and research.
Okay.
And admin. So everything. Now, it's easier to fit everything in some of those categories, but it better fit somehow. The biggest proportion of our budget, probably, I'm going to say 60% of it is research, and then probably another 20 to 30% for education and outreach. We try to keep our admin expenses at 10% or less of the annual, and that's a nonprofit kind of a thumb rule.
Right.
The thing is, if you understand numbers, that it's the same amount every year, but in a good year, it's 6%.
Yeah.
In a 2024 year, it's 15%.
Yeah.
And they need to average out to that.
Yeah, but the education is probably 20 to 30% of the budget. Good question. Yeah.
It's been fun. I've worked with Dr. Josh Lofton on the Red Dirt Soy website and the videos that we did to help educate the producers, but also to give updates on what he's doing for research from an OSU standpoint into the soybean producer that helps the soybean producers not only in Oklahoma but then in also neighboring states as well. And it's been fun to. I mean, I learned something every year because I think last year he was doing sunlight limiting of soybeans, so he would have the different stages. I kind of wish Josh was here to kind of walk through that.
Yeah, I can do that because I've heard him talk about it a million times. Okay, you're more fun. I want to hear you stumble. So,
but the shade cloth and how that actually inputs or that impacts the actual yield of the soybean plants.
Well done.
Well,
+5.
I remember the videos. So
and research can come in a lot of areas because most people think primarily production,
right?
And we've done that a lot. But even some more of the Oklahoma State University researchers have been contributing research projects on beetles, and making sure that certain chemicals, herbicides that they've been using forever and are very critical to their production, is not affecting the beetles. Good research.
Oh yeah.
So it's expanding to a lot of areas.
And I want to swing back. I want to kind of throw the appreciation to Rick and the entire soybean board, because both Josh and I have a vision of where we want all the commodities outreach to end up at, and a kind of something we've been scheming on for ever since Josh came. And the soybean board has been that first board that we can go to with some of the more out there ideas.
Yeah.
Let's watch a bean grow and have Dave go lay in the field once a week for an entire growth season. Let's look at, and so the soybean board has allowed us the opportunity to really do some of this outreach that has been that we do hope to take and make broader. So you've allowed us the opportunity to do these programmatic things for online, what's the soybean page?
Red Dirt Soy.
Red Dirt Soy. Great tie. Red Dirt Soy. The field days with the Red Dirt Soy where we could zoom in and really kind of encompass all of our field activities throughout the year, so that somebody in eastern Oklahoma doesn't have to drive out to the field day out west or vice versa, that they could use this website to really dive in. We'd like to see that. Right now, that's really the only website we have. We do want to see that for the rest of the commodities because it makes so much sense. It's such a high impact. And so I just want to thank the board, because I know it's not Rick. Rick doesn't get to say yay or nay on a lot of things. He can lean.
I can lean.
Yeah.
But, that board has been really open to communication and outreach efforts. And it's greatly appreciated.
Well, and just to follow up with that, people say, why are you doing Chick-a-Doodle-Doo or Pork and Beans?
Right.
Why are you doing research with teachers about? It's because they are our number one customer.
Yes.
And if just in thumb rules again, half the beans grown in this country are exported.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they were before China,
at one point in time,
China decided not to buy any beans, which is ironic because that's where they actually came from.
Exactly.
As ballast.
Yeah.
And just dumped them out on the ground, loaded up our timber, and went back to China. And eventually, some of the peoples who were camping along that eastern coast there, called the colonies, they said, we should do something with this stuff. And the other half that stays here, 97% of the domestic beans that stay in this country are used for animal agriculture.
Wow.
Yeah, and confined poultry, pork, which are in confinement, a lot of soybean meal, and then all of the other animal agriculture. So now, that's why we do things that support animal. They're number one customer, and the board has said that makes sense. Let's do it.
Let's talk about the integration of different crops, because we're here with the Oklahoma Wheat Commission, but the soybean board works with others, because a producer is not just going to plant wheat every year. They're not going to plant soybeans. They're going to rotate in there because it's beneficial to each crop. They work together with that.
One of the most perhaps deflating comments I got from a farmer one time is in north central Oklahoma when soybeans started really making a way in the north central Oklahoma, and he said, "Yeah, soybeans, man." He said that's a great crop. It really helps clean up our wheat fields.
Right.
I'm like, okay, we're a cleanup crop.
Right.
But in a good year, it's a great cash crop too.
Yeah.
So, but to follow to your point, it's a great integration. And interesting, again, with a little statistics, for years, the top soybean producing counties in Oklahoma were in eastern Oklahoma.
Yes.
Choskey River Bottoms, Ottawa County, Wagner County, Muskogee County. They ruled.
Yeah.
They're not even in the top 5 anymore.
Wow.
Not even close.
Top 5, you're sitting in them.
Really? Garfield County.
Yeah.
Garfield, Grant K, Garfield, and Noble are the top 5 counties for soybean production. For years, everybody told them you can't raise soybeans up here.
Right.
And crazier yet is how many fields I consult in the Panhandle now.
Wow.
Like moving out into Texas County, Beaver County for sure, and Texas County and into southwest Kansas, into the high plains, how far that bean crop is stretching. And so now I've changed beans in Miami and Ottawa County versus beans in Lamont are two different animals.
Yeah.
But you go from Lamont to Guyman, that's a whole nother animal in itself. And so you actually switch on the fertility side to irons are sensitive to iron. Soybean is sensitive to iron deficiencies in the high pH, and so there's a whole nother realm. And so we've had to develop new works just because of that migration out west.
And those
irrigated beans?
Huh?
Irrigated beans?
Irrigated beans.
Right.
They'd have to be. There's no dry land beans.
No. But it's crazy with they have an input cost of a liquid iron, which could be $25 to $50 an acre. But without it in some of these spots, it goes from 40 bushel, 50 bushel beans to zero. It is a all or nothing input.
Yeah.
But it could be a very precision input. You could do a precision ag form of it, variable rate, or just variable location. Because reducing a $50 to $50+ input cost, if you only need it on 20% of your acres, is a big savings.
Why? And I'm going to ask this because you've kind of already answered it. Why is Oklahoma so good for soybean production?
Well, part of in most of the cases, it's soils and weather, rainfall and soils.
Right.
And so again, continual years and years of 40-inch rainfall versus none affects your soil profile and your nutrient profile immensely. You know, I tell people all the time, soybeans are the number 2 planted crop in Oklahoma, behind wheat. Well, way behind wheat. But and so we have our competitors for number 2 would be cotton and corn, and sorghum is kind of making a comeback. But cotton and corn. So whether it's planted acres, harvested acres, or value production, whichever one makes us number 2. That's the one I use. But it is an important crop for Oklahoma.
It's the historic double crop too. I mean, that's what we follow wheat with that ability to have the bean plant go in such a short time, and it goes reproductive early. It can handle the stresses fairly well, and it's always been, now it's different, but when I first started, a double crop bean, it did not take much to break even. So it was a really low risk, high reward scenario where if it failed, you weren't really going to be out that much because of the input cost for the double crops.
Right.
But if you could hit a 25, I mean, there was a long time when I started, break even, guys were saying 8 or 9 bushel, 10 bushel was break even on a double crop. So if you hit 25, and now we got, if the year hits, we've seen 60, 65, 70 bushel double crop. We've had some, it's all these years. We had some amazing double crop years, and I went heavy into double crop research, and we haven't had a good double crop year since. So I got out, had a good double crop year this year. So, I just need to stay out of that research world.
Well, soybeans are a hardy, a taproot plant, but they are sensitive a little bit to that one rain in late season when they're forming blooms or filling pods.
Right.
And it doesn't take much, just that one. I asked one producer there in northeast Oklahoma, I said, how's the beans this year? And he quoted the line from the famous book. He said, he said it was the best of times and the worst of times. And he said, and 10 miles separated those.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's one question I'd love to ask Josh, because I always ask, there's that 2-week window where everything has to hit perfectly. What is that 2-week window? And he can nail it crop by crop and where it is located in the state. And to what you just mentioned, soybeans are kind of very sensitive to that 2-week window, but whenever it hits, it's a great crop.
Well, and that's where Brian and Josh and the guys have done a lot of great research with maturity groups.
Yes.
And sometimes farmers will hedge a little bit with maturity groups because they fall in just a little different window as to when they need that critical little rain. So, yeah.
I'm going to go a little sideways in our last couple of minutes on this because there's another program that the Soybean Board supports that I would guess that the general public has no clue of, but they would find it absolutely fascinating, which is the feral hog control.
I was just thinking about that.
Rick, can you tell us a little bit about how the board, and it's a rich history of support too. I mean, it's been many years going. So can you share with how the board has supported ODWC in that fight?
Yeah, I think probably it was the catalyst was some of the board members were having feral hogs in their field.
Crazy how that works.
Yeah. And as soon as they start attacking golf courses, we'll get major funding for them.
You're 100% right.
But they're exponential in their growth. They have short generation interval and multiple live births, and you have to eliminate 40 to 60%. I forget the exact number of the population to stay even.
Jeez.
And so, people get confused a little bit between Department of Wildlife and Wildlife Services.
Yes.
So Department of Wildlife is a state agency, and it has to do with anything they can sell a license for.
Yeah.
And has a season.
Right.
But the pests, and that's all Wildlife Services. And they came to the board and said, with a proposal, I think the first year was thermal scopes.
Yeah.
So they could help eliminate and control the harvest those pigs at night.
Yeah.
They've used traps and trapping, and we've spent money for panels and metal so they can build traps, and we've spent money for, the board has allocated funding for grain carts because they use a lot of corn to bait those traps with. Again, they thought, this is a problem. We need to. We actually had a meeting in Oklahoma City one time, and we got all the commodity groups together to try to bring more resources and a bigger focus. We just can't seem to get them to buy in. But the board has been steadfast every year.
Yeah,
and they give a report and the numbers that they've killed. So
I've listened to a lot of those reports, and the numbers are staggering, and we're just a drop in the bucket. But we're doing due diligence.
Now, for the non-ag listeners, the reason why the feral hogs are
the destructive nature is one, especially with the bean crop or any row crop. Really, is they have this just innate know to go to the row that was just planted and go straight down and pick up every. And so we've documented 80-90% field loss. And so row crops are a huge hit. My in-laws are in southeast Oklahoma in LaFleur County and off of the Poto River bottoms. And the hogs down there are so bad. He's a hay cow calf operation. Yeah. He loses hay fields every year. It's not the dogs. There was a whole a wallow that could easily fit a VW bug in both width and depth. It was a solid 6 foot deep. So the problem is these fields, when it's time to hay down there, the grass is 6-7 foot tall in a lot of cases. It gets really, really tall down there. You hit that hole and the tractor's gone.
Oh, yeah.
And so they lost land to hay because the hog destruction was so bad you couldn't get a swather and baler in there because of equipment issues. So every year they'd have to rework, and it's not re-sprigging, so they'd lose significant production. So it's not just the beans.
No.
They get corn, they get wheat, they get pasture.
And a lot of people thought for a long time, just to Brian's point, that it was a crop problem.
Yeah.
It's your crop guys.
Yeah.
But we looked at a place over on west of Cleveland.
Boston Pool area.
Area. And this particular ranch, there was no farming going on at all. We had a hard time getting up the driveway because that tells you how tough that snout is. They'd rooted up the driveway. Some of the pastures we could hardly drive across anywhere. Completely rooted up those Bermuda pastures, and had reduced a hay pile, round bales, all stacked in a row to mulch.
Wow.
And the farmers and the ranchers' yard.
Wow.
It's not just a crop problem.
No.
It needs to be addressed. We're doing, I think Brian put it right, we're doing due diligence. We're doing our part, trying to help. And if the Wildlife Services will come out to an area, to a farmer who's having problems with him, and they trap or they shoot, it will help that farmer for a little while.
Yeah, for a little while. Yeah. So what is the next focus of the soybean board? Boy, I love asking those really tough questions like that.
Well, right, and we're supposed to know.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things that we ask ourselves every board meeting, and Ginger's done a great job, at least on promotion, marketing, and education, of coming up with something new. First, she was going out to the classrooms, and then we did virtual reality, and then we did teacher workshops, and so
one of our focuses is more social media presence,
right?
Which we definitely need to link the podcast to our Facebook and keep that relevant and new each time. We have videoed our last workshops. One, it's overwhelming. There's so much information for a teacher. They get all of these things loaded in their car. They get back to the classroom, and it's testing season. So it's always testing season.
It's always testing season.
So we have videoed those, and we are working on the platform to upload them so that they are there for the teacher to review. If we had a teacher that wasn't able to attend, they can also go through that workshop. So those will be linked on our website. That's new this year. We are also we formed a group of teacher council advisory to us. I serve on the Ag in the Classroom Advisory Council.
Oh, good.
But we have just sent out invitations to teachers preschool to college. Some select ones that we know have followed us, have been a part of what we do and share the mission. And they are going to serve as an advisory component to my projects. Also, that's just another 10 to 15 teachers that are going to reach others that may not be following us on our Facebook page, which is Oklahoma Soybean Board Facebook. Also Cool Beans Facebook.
Oh, I love it.
So we've got that in place to extend our reach. They are also going to be some of our presenters for new workshops, new ideas. We want to offer some Facebook Live trainings, so that we're not asking a teacher to come and spend their Saturday. Used to, we did weekday workshops, and the substitute problem in the schools made it almost impossible. So we moved to Saturdays, and you're really asking a lot. But they show up. I mean, our last workshop, we had 4 sessions. We had 60 teachers attend. So that's something that we're doing new. And also, I would say on our YouTube channel, Oklahoma Soybean Board, Rick is reading the book Full of Beans, Henry Ford Builds a Car.
Oh, cool.
He is reading that book from a soybean field.
And it was hot. It was a lie.
That's the best time.
Well, they were green and beautiful.
Right.
So that's a great thing, and some of the kids think that Mr. Rick is a Hollywood star.
Yes, he is.
And so so
I am supposed to get a picture with you before we go. My kids.
The kids are the only ones that think that. You know, it's like, that's the guy on the video. Yeah, that was me.
So that's kind of where we're headed with technology and increasing our presence.
Yeah. And from a producer standpoint, what are you hearing from producers across the state wanting, a direction for that?
For the beans?
Well, for the beans, but from a producer standpoint.
And I think producers are interested in production research. How can I grow better beans? How can I adapt them more to our environment? And they like the idea that we're marketing and education, creating an awareness level of what soybeans can do and what they're useful for, and promoting them to our number one customers. So that would be my that would be my take on it.
And my push every time when I'm in front of teachers, I'm seeing boaters.
Yes.
And you can no longer just go back home and farm.
Yeah.
And a lot of producers, that's where their passion is. They're on the tractor, they're in the production.
Yeah.
But their livelihood depends on so many other aspects. Yeah. And so, when we're teaching teachers, we're teaching boaters that are teaching future boaters, and we have to have agriculture-friendly boating.
Yeah.
And we would, because there will be issues come up that affect soybean growers in the state.
Right.
And they have to be informed and aware. But the checkoff guidelines strictly prohibit doing anything that even smells like influencing legislation.
Yes.
So we have to stay away from that.
Yeah.
But we can lay the groundwork for those people to be favorable towards soybeans.
Well, knowledge is power. And the more that they understand, the more they have whenever it becomes their responsibilities to, increase their hope of being fed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We were driving through a new area just west of Owasso, and I wanted to roll down my window at all of the new houses going up and say, "You're going to be hungry."
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're losing so much farmland. So, it's all about having your tummy full eventually.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for going on with us in this episode of the Red Dirt Agronomy Podcast. This has been very informative, and not only for the soybean producer, not only from that standpoint, but the general agriculture in general, and with that.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure, and we appreciate what you guys are doing for sure. Not only for soybeans, for the rest of the agricultural products and policies. It's a good thing.
We all play well together.
That's very true.
We have to. We gotta. We either hang together or we'll hang separately.
That's very true. So true.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you for listening in on this conversation of the Red Dirt Agronomy Podcast. And if you'd like to join the next discussion, leave us a message on our website, reddirtagronomy.com. We would like to thank Rick and Ginger Reimer of the Oklahoma Soybean Board for joining us this week on the podcast. Again, if you get a chance, visit our website, reddirtagronomy.com, to find more information about our guests and any of the resources that we discussed today on the podcast. For Dr. Brian Arnell, I am Dave Deacon, and we both want to thank you for listening. The proceeding is a copyrighted recording of Ag Now Media, LLC 2026. And yes, all rights are reserved.